I've been dating my fiance for 10 years, and we're expecting a baby, which is due in March. We'll elope before the baby arrives for legal reasons, but we'll do it in January, so we'll be able to organize a small party for my family and close friends. No more than 20 people. My best friend and her future husband will be invited though. So, straight to the point, my best friend is getting married in a month. She's been with her fiance for a year, and they got engaged within 6 months. Personally, that's too rushed in my opinion, but that's her life. So if she believes this is the right man, this is her decision. Once they got engaged around April, she asked me to be her maid of honor. She then told me she plans to have a massive celebration with 200 plus guests. Vaccination rates are very high in my country, and most restrictions are eased since cases are also very low. So naturally, I assumed my fiance would be invited. My best friend has known him for 10 years, and they're also friendly. In addition, most of our friends are married, so their spouses get an automatic invite. So again, I assumed my fiance would be invited, but my BFF decided to notify me that he's not invited. Literally yesterday during a chat we had, and I told her about the suit my fiance bought. She told me, I never told you X is invited though. I asked her what she meant by that. She said that only married and long-term couples are invited to the wedding. I reminded her I'm engaged to that man. We're expecting a kid together, and I've been with him for 10 years, while we're also planning to get eloped in a few months. She objected and said she didn't invite him because she didn't see our relationship as valid if it took so long for us to make our relationship legal. If we've been waiting 10 years to take the next step, then our relationship bond is probably not that strong. I told her that that's not her decision to make, and she doesn't get to decide whether my relationship is valid or not. She insisted on her decision and said, I'll not invite him. I decide who comes and who doesn't. And since I don't think your relationship is as strong as it should be, you may break up soon. And I don't want an ex existing in my wedding pictures. So accept it or leave. I am not in the mood to deal with that drama. I told her she was ridiculous assuming that we might break up based on her bizarre beliefs, and reminded her I've been with that man for 10 years, while she's been with her man for less than 1 year, and she is ridiculous for thinking she can dictate who's serious and who isn't. I told her I was dropping the maid of honor role because I refused to be disrespected like that, and told her she could search for someone new to torture, but not me. Our mutual friends have told me I'm the idiot for dropping out of the wedding, and how I should respect the bride's decision. I respect it, but I won't be a part of it. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Holy smokes, that's a bridezilla and a terrible friend. Like seriously, who does that to your supposedly best friend? Honestly, after that kind of disrespect, I'm surprised you're still going to the wedding. At least she showed you how little she respects you, your fiance, and your relationship in general before you sunk even more time and money into this friendship. So girl, bye is what I tell her. Not the idiot. She sounds like an idiot who may have a personal issue with your fiance. She has the right to her opinion, and you have the right to yours. However, she can't expect you to accept the stupid excuse that after 10 plus years of commitment, her piece of paper validates her relationship more than yours. Agree. This story isn't even about being a maid of honor anymore. This is someone who point blank singled out OP's relationship, judged it as not being valid, and said she thought their marriage or family would fail, despite 10 years, an engagement, and a child. This bride is weaponizing her own wedding as an excuse to insult and openly pass judgment on her friends. A wedding isn't an excuse to mistreat others, and there are consequences for being horrible to friends and family while planning your big day party. She doesn't have a problem with the fiance, but insists that moving slowly means a bad relationship because she feels like she's rushing hers. So she's trying to establish this insane precedent that the faster you move, the stronger your bond. I think some engagement rings have lead in them and poisoned people's minds. So OP, she is delusional, and check with your friends what is the version she told them. I, 26 male, have been married to my wife, 24, for around 8 months. We recently bought a home and have been packing up, moving out of our apartment and into our new house. For whatever reason, my wife and my mom, 53, haven't really connected. This seems to bother my mother, as I have two married older sisters, and she has a great relationship with their husbands. So while we were busy packing up and moving, my mom showed up and started to kind of insert herself into our efforts, asking what she could do to help. I told her, actually, Mom, I think we pretty much have this, but thank you. But she persisted, helping us pack up boxes. Then while my wife and I were loading boxes into the back of my truck, my mom said, "Here, why don't we try it like this? I think it'll work better." This, for whatever reason, set my wife off, and she snapped, "Look, we don't need your help. Stop forcing yourself into this. We have it. I don't need you to tell me how to load our belongings. Leave us alone." I honestly will never forget the look of hurt on my mom's face. Finally, she bowed out and left. Afterward, I asked my wife, "Was that necessary?" She responded, "Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but your mom is so frustrating. She doesn't know when to quit." A couple of days later, the incident and the look on my mom's face were still on my mind, so I decided to invite my mom out to dinner at a local restaurant that she likes to tell her that I was sorry. I did this without talking to my wife first, but I told her about it afterward and told her she could also attend the meal and tell my mom she was sorry too if she wanted to. My wife vehemently declined and told me that the dinner was disrespectful to her, that my mom was being too pushy and wasn't owed an apology. She told me that I was a mama's boy. I told her that I'm not a mama's boy, but that I'm not just going to stand by, as the woman who gave me life and sat by me whenever I had a fever was disrespected, not even by my wife, and that my mom meant well and is owed an apology. My wife is upset with me. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot, and likely part of the reason your wife's frustration reached that level. Oh boy, you're going to be one of those divorced men going, "But I don't understand why she left me." Men like this don't realize that it's illegal to be married to two women in a lot of places in the world. OP, you are an adult, and you have aged past the point of thinking about your mother as the woman who gave me life. Right now, she's the woman helping you to endanger your marriage. You are the idiot. You told your mom multiple times that you had everything covered. It made perfect sense for your wife to be annoyed when that boundary had already been set. It was also entirely disrespectful to then turn around and apologize for your wife's behavior without telling her first. This makes it sound like your mom did absolutely nothing wrong in the situation. While your wife may have been a bit rude with her delivery, you need to set strong boundaries early in your marriage between you and your parents before this becomes a bigger issue down the road. Yeah, OP, does your mom have lots of well-meaning moments where she inserts herself into situations without being invited and ignores the word no? Because this may have just been the final straw with your wife. It can be frustrating having somebody consistently coming in and taking over events in your life, because it seems like you said no to your mom and she decided she was helping whether you wanted her there or not. I, 40 female, have a sister, 42, who has a daughter, young teen. She was recently diagnosed with cancer. It is some kind of bone cancer, not entirely sure which. And thankfully, they were able to catch it early, and with treatment, she will most likely live. She had a chemo day today, and my sister, her mother, had me pick her up, as she was busy, I believe. I don't mind and even consented to be able to pick her up almost any time if my sister informs the hospital beforehand, as my job is flexible. So I arrived and then picked her up. She was fine, just looked like she was a little out of it, most likely from pain, and looked incredibly tired. We made small talk, and then she started checking something on her phone. She started tearing up, so I asked her what was wrong. She said she got a B in math and a C+ in English, and midterms were being sent home. I said that with what she's going through, that's pretty good, and asked her how her other subjects were going. She said that they were all A's, and I said, "See, you're doing great." She said that her mom would be mad at her. I said that she would probably understand, and she said that she would still be mad. I said that I would try to talk to her. I drop her off, and the minute we step in, she starts screaming about the grades, saying things like, "Do you want to be a failure? Are you even trying? Stop being lazy and start studying more." I was angry and told her that she was ridiculous. She said that she wanted her daughter to do better. I said that she has cancer and she'd be happy that her daughter is doing so well with that. She told me to get out of her house, and I realized I had no power or leverage here and left. I tried calling her, but she told me to shut up and mind my own business and told me I was horrible for being so rude to her. I am starting to think she is right because I could have been calm and spoken to her about why I disagree with her. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, but your sister sure is. Usually I side against people trying to butt into other people's parenting, but holy smokes! When I fell egregiously ill as a freshman in high school, I was so thankful to have all of my teachers and my parents supporting me in balancing school and health. It helped me to succeed. So I cannot imagine the stress your poor niece is going through. Your sister was clearly in the wrong for being so degrading. As far as I know, most kids who have cancer can't keep up with school at all and often have to repeat specific courses or even the entire year. Chemo is no joke. Adults can't handle working while doing chemo, so why should a child be expected to? Maybe don't annoy your sister so much that she might block your contact with your niece. The little girl could probably use a fun and supportive aunt in her life. OP, your sister has lost her ability to be compassionate or feel empathy in this situation, and that's so sad. It's also worrying that your niece began crying when she saw the grades. It makes me wonder just how severe your sister's punishments are. It might have been best to approach her more calmly, but at that moment, your outrage was clearly justified. Not the idiot. You keep fighting for your niece. She's lucky to have you around. I have been living with my mom, 43, temporarily, since getting kicked out of my rental apartment. The owners are turning it into their office. I also pay rent against my mother's insistence to live rent-free because it doesn't feel right. My mom shares the home with her husband, 38, of 5 years, and their toddler. My mom has some residual guilt about being a young mother and giving me an unstable childhood. She wants me to live like a family member. Now, I'm sure my mom means well. She wants to give me the family experience, but I'm grown. I'm 25. I'm over it. After a long day at my very hectic job as an attorney, I just want to get rid of my work clothes and unwind in my room. I've struggled with weight my entire life and have struggled with being bustier than normal. Getting rid of the extra weight and getting to normal BMI hasn't helped with downsizing my chest though, and I am self-conscious about that. However, wearing a bra all day is painful, and I get rid of it once I'm home. I live in humid climatic conditions, so it's unbearable for me. The first night I came down to dinner with the family, I was braless, but I wore a very baggy oversized shirt. The next day, my mom pulled me aside to scold me for not wearing a bra and said that I made her husband uncomfortable. I stopped joining them for dinner. I have dinner in my room now and don't interact with anyone outside the bare minimum when I'm in my home clothes. My mom blames me for neglecting the family and not coming to a compromise, wear a bra around them. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. As a busty woman myself, I'd never think to show up to dinner without a bra, regardless of who it is. Rather trashy not to. I mean, yeah, I get it. Bras are uncomfortable, and I also live in a hot, humid beach area, so I know it can feel rough. But like, come on. Dinner is like what? 30 minutes, maybe an hour? Throw on a sports bra. No one is asking for a deluxe push-up bra, just some kind of minimal effort at modesty. I know you said a baggy shirt, but if you're busty like I am, there's no way they're completely hidden. You can still see everything. Why should everyone else be subjected to knowing what your tits look like while trying to enjoy dinner just because you're tired? Not the idiot. You're 25. You can wear what you want. Your stepdad is uncomfortable because he can't help but look at your chest and judge you. He's afraid someone will catch his eyes lingering. So instead, he wants you to wear a bra and be uncomfortable. That said, I'm sure you will get many people here saying you suck and he sucks. They will say you suck because it's your mom's house and their rules, not yours. But check it out. It's your body. No matter where you are or live, you are not wrong. He's a creep. I wouldn't judge him as a pervert without hearing from him. It might be OP's mom's problem, and she's using her husband as an excuse. Her daughter is only 13 years younger than her husband, a big age range but not uncommon. And then mom is 5 years older than him. She could be thinking stupid things and making excuses for her discomforts, etc. Regardless, OP still is not the idiot. I'm a father of 2, Natalie, 24, and Jonathan, nearly adult. Jonathan has mobility issues throughout his childhood, and it got worse as he grew up. He became a full-time wheelchair user 2 years ago after a serious accident that left him in a worse state than he was before. Natalie moved out for college at the age of 18 and then moved in with her now ex-boyfriend. Now I need to mention that because Natalie is my oldest, she had the bigger room in the house. Jonathan had the smaller room, which was fine by him, but now it's different. With the major changes in his life and needing a wheelchair to move around, I have considered moving him into Natalie's old room that she hasn't used in years. I first called her to let her know, and she gave me the green light to go ahead and do what's best for her brother and make his life easier. So I renovated it and added things to it to accommodate Jonathan's needs, and it cost money. Remember, that was almost 2 years ago. A few days ago, Natalie called saying she had a huge fight with her now ex after she caught him with someone and was staying at the hotel. We talked a little, and she asked me to empty her bedroom and move Jonathan back to his old room because she wanted hers back and said it'd be cool if her mom and I prepared it for when she moves in with us. I was completely taken aback. I said I couldn't move Jonathan out since he needed the room. I explained he needed the space to move freely, but she said it's her room, no matter how many years away from home. I called her unreasonable and reminded her that she said I could give the room to Jonathan, but she said she wanted it and expects to have it back now. We went back and forth on this issue, and I refused to give it back to her. She threw a fit, saying I should support her and give her shelter in this hard time, and I replied I know she's struggling and she's welcome to come, but the room was off limits. She got more upset, saying I favored Jonathan over her, and got my wife feeling guilty, saying she would be staying at the hotel till we told her her room was ready for her, which I declined to do and said she could stay there then. This morning I found out that my wife's been sending her money to pay for her hotel stay, and she's been telling the family I'm keeping her out of the house. In my defense, I told them Natalie wants the room, but Jonathan needs it, and I already spent money to renovate it. Not the idiot. And what is wrong with your wife too? She's throwing you under the bus because you want your son to live comfortably? Your daughter and wife need a serious reality check or heart check. Make sure they still have them. Not the idiot at all. Natalie moved out, and the room reverted from being her room to being a room in your house which you gifted to your son. She has no rights to that room. It is now Jonathan's room. Natalie's quality of life will not decrease significantly by moving into a smaller room, but Jonathan's will. It's not just John doesn't like the room, he can't move in it. Wheelchairs are big. When you have desks, beds, and other items, you can't get around much. Not the idiot. The way she is acting is unbelievable. Quite frankly, if you had modified that room into a gym or something and offered her the smaller room, that would still be fine because it's your house and you're allowed to do that. The fact that she wants you to kick your disabled son out of his handicap-accessible room is crap. She has a very entitled attitude towards your home. She's an adult who moved out and moved on. If she doesn't like it, she's free to move into an apartment that makes her perfectly happy. Yep, but fight back, OP. Don't let them pull the extended family into this without telling the full story. Text or email the entire family, including your wife and daughter, that your daughter is always welcome back home, in your guest room. Explain that you asked, and she gave up her room so that Jonathan could have full access. Explain that you spent money renovating it. Explain that Jonathan's older room is not big enough for his wheelchair. And what happens when she decides to move out again? This is not a permanent solution. Dislocating the son for a month or two until she leaves is ridiculous.